Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. Today I have a super beginner friendly tutorial and I'm going to show you how to make fire in Blender 5.1. And you can see here, this is the result here. We can see it's a nice realistic looking fire. Now this is just a viewport display for the volumetrics, but what we can actually see here, if I go Z and go rendered, you can see we have this material, which I'm also going to show you how to make, right? So you can see we have this nice sort of fire. And this is a fantastic beginner tutorial, something that you would probably enjoy trying out if you've never messed around with these sort of fluid simulations. And yes, it is technically a type of fluid simulation working with gases. So yeah, let's jump in. I'll show you step by step how to make a fire simulation in Blender for beginners. Let's jump in. Okay, so jumping into new scene in Blender, I'm using Blender 5.1. I'm just going to select all the default objects. I'm going to press delete. Then I'm going to go Shift A. I'm just going to go to my mesh options and add in a UV sphere. And then what we can do is we can press F3 on the keyboard. So just type in F3 and then type in here quick and just click on the quick smoke. There you go. Then go ahead and select the sphere. Go over to your physics and it should by default now have a fluid. We're going to come and change the flow type over here from smoke to fire. We want to increase the fuel to 2.4. Then go down to the flow source. We want to take the surface emission to 1.2. Then we want to come and we want to give this some texture. So come down to the bottom, activate the texture. And then to add a texture to this, right? We can go over to our textures panel here. We can go new. We can change the type from image to cloud. We can make the scale 0.1. And then let's come over here to the colors and let's just take that contrast up to 6. Make it nice and contrasted. Then let's go back to our physics and under our textures, you just want to make sure that it's using that texture that we just created. Now we can actually focus on the domain. So let's select it. Let's go over to the physics here. And we want to go to the cache type first before we do anything. So let's go down to the cache. We want to change it from replay to modular. So that way it doesn't slow us down too much in the viewport. I'm going to click on this file here and I'm just going to go to my desktop. I'm going to create a new folder and I'll just call it fire cache. Okay, I'm going to click on that and I'm going to go accept. And I'm going to go accept again. And now I have a destination for this to cache out to. I also want it to be 120 frames long, so I'm going to give it 120 frames. I'm also going to change my animation to 120 frames. So that's how long it's going to cache this out for. We'll now go up, and this is the important bit. And this is really going to be a limit to how long you want to wait or the limit of your PC. So we want to take this up by factors of 2. So if I go with the 32 standard, over here I can actually go and type an asterisk next to it and 2, and then it automatically times it by 2. But because I can do the math in my head, it's easy enough just to do this manually. So I can see here, if I wanted to double that, I'd have to do 128. If you doubled 128, you can see here, I can type in the asterisk and then 2. That'll be 256. But I think I'm just gonna go with 128 because my computer is not a super high-end computer, but it has enough to do it. But if you have sort of like a modern computer with a lot of powerful graphics, go ahead and bump this number up even higher. But I found 120 gives you a pretty good result without having to go too crazy for most modern computers. And one more thing we can do to make this really efficient is to go down and enable adaptive domain. So it'll work adaptively as the simulation is running. Essentially just allocating space where it's needed. And then you can go actually to the fire settings itself. You can take the reaction speed and you can bring that down. I think that just makes it look a little bit better. So I'm going to go to 0.45. And then the vorticity, I feel like if you bring that number down to something like 0.15, it gives you a bit of a better, sort of more smoother looking result. But you can mess around with those settings all you want. And now with that done, make sure to save your blend file somewhere. And then what you can do is you can go over up here and then just bake the data. And now it's going to bake this in. So it might take a minute or 2 or 3 minutes depending on your machine, but you can see here mine is moving relatively fast. And just like that, it's done caching. That took about 6-7 minutes on my computer. And I'll quickly show you, if I hit the spacebar now starting at frame 1, you can see this is the result, looking really, really nice. So you've now made fire in Blender, pretty cool. And you can see here how the whole sort of like adaptive domain works over here, which is really cool as well. But what we'll do now is we'll go over to our render engine. We'll change it from Eevee to cycles. If you have a GPU, I recommend you use it. I'm just going to go over that. Then with the max samples, I'm going to make it 45 just because I'm doing a tutorial. And then let's go over to our shading workspace. Select the domain because that's where your material lives. And then you can actually scroll out here. And by default, it's giving you a principled volume, which is going to be handy. So if we go Z and we go rendered, and you hit the spacebar, you can see we're not really seeing anything here. So what we need to do is we first need to go Shift A, search. We need to grab an attribute that's automatically generated when we do a simulation. So let's just type in attribute. Okay, and then in the attribute here, we can type in fire, make sure to spell it correctly. And now we have an attribute you can use. Actually, I think it might be heat. I'm recalling now, the attribute we're actually looking for is the heat. So type in H-E-A-T, heat. Then we can take this attribute and we can actually use it in the emission strength. So we're gonna plug it into the emission strength over here. And now you can see we have a brightness, but we can go Shift A, search, and type in ramp and get a color ramp. Place it on here and then drag this black value up to really sort of clamp that. And now it looks even a bit better. And we'll drag this value down. So that gives us sort of the contrast we're looking for. We want the whole thing overall to be brighter. So what we can do, we can go Shift A, search, and type in math, get a utilities math node, place it on here, and then we can actually multiply that. And then let's multiply it by something like 4, or you can mess around with whatever you want. So now we have sort of the emission strength worked out. Now we want to add color. So we're going to utilize the same attribute here. So I'm going to go Shift D to duplicate this color ramp. I'm going to plug this color into the factor here. And then we're going to take this and plug it in to the absorption, or I think the emission color. Yeah, we'll go with the emission color. There we go. And then what we can do, we can grab this value over here and we'll drag it down a bit and we'll make this guy orange. So I'm going to go here and make it sort of like a nice orange. And then we'll drag this guy down over here and make it like a yellow color like this. Okay, and now you can kind of see what we have here. You can sort of drag this a little bit. And now we have a fire here. To really see this better, you can go over to your world properties and bring the background down quite a bit. And now it's darker. Now you can see that we actually have fire here. And I don't know how this looks in the viewport, but once you render this out, you can see it looks actually quite realistic. So what I'll do is I'll just go in the scene here. I'll go Shift A, just add in a camera. And I'll move the camera back like so. Now let's just quickly go render and render the image. And there you can see that is what it looks like. We've now got a nice looking fire. So add it to a campfire scene or whatever you want, and this can look really, really good. Okay, so I hope you guys have enjoyed this tutorial on making fire in Blender. I'll see you next time, and thank you for watching.